the OCP Critical Facilities Operations Framework. This webinar will look at the process called Indoor and Outdoor Facility Management. We will have a process overview, look at some lessons learned from customer experiences, and leave you with final notes to consider when working with these processes. So the indoor and outdoor facility management is part of the OCP CFOPS delivery model. It regards on-site services, and as such it is driven and controlled by the site management function, but may be performed by other organizations. They may be in-house or outsourced. The process of indoor and outdoor facility management is split between the areas that are covered by the services, and those may be outside the building or inside the building. And when it comes to the whether it's inside the building, is it within the net floor area or outside the net floor area? I will get back to this, what it means, but the point is, the purpose of facility management, or the aim of it, is really to enable the site to be managed at normal status by handling specific services under controlled conditions. So they are scheduled, budgeted, and approved. And if we have gaps in this, it can actually shorten the life expectancy of the site or cause incidents and failures. So this shouldn't be underestimated. Here in the Nordics, for example, if you don't have snow removal regulated as part of the FM outside the building, it may block access to the critical facility, which could be a problem. Another important area of FM is health and safety rules, which could impose risks, or it could even lead to compliance violations. So this should not be taken lightly, but actually be considered as well. So let's look into this a bit more. If we look at the area and space measurement in FM, the OCP CFOPS is aligned with the European norm 15221, which in itself also follows many others, ISO standards and similar. And this is an overview which shows how the net floor area is broken down. If you start in the right side of this slide, you see that the NFA has two parts, the net room area and the partition wall area. That means that you can consider who is responsible for the management of the partition wall, which is cleaning, repairs, other parts. Then you have the net room area, which in itself can have different types of areas. And these are the primary area, where you would typically have the white space, or the rooms where the end users, if you like, or end user organizations have their equipment and their activities. Those are the areas that everything of the critical facility actually aims at supporting to enable the business being performed within the primary area. The primary area is often surrounded by circulation areas, so that you can move around between the different spaces, and amenity areas, for example, there may be restrooms and meeting rooms and these kind of things. And typically in these critical facilities, there are important technical areas where you may have battery rooms, UPS rooms, and generators and so forth, network cabling, meet me rooms, and all these kind of things. So all these types of areas are formally defined, and they can be restricted or unrestricted depending on the security classification as well. This slide is only to give you an overview and understanding of how these things are interrelated. And it's an important part because it is one of the ways of handling the border lists between different suppliers or different departments within an organization. Who is responsible for which areas? One example would be where the real estate owner or the site owner perhaps is responsible for emergency power from generators that are outside the net floor area perhaps, so it's expected to be provided according to the border list. And then within the net floor area, you have the UPS and batteries that serve the critical facility in this case, where the responsibility lies within the scope of this example of a contract or agreement. The problem is, what about the power distribution or cabling, power cabling between the gensets and the technical area within the net floor area here? And what about the switchboards between grid power and emergency power? Is that outside the net floor area or is it within the net floor area? Who is responsible for the technical maintenance and the electrical approvals and government acceptance criteria and so forth, and of course health and safety being fulfilled when working with those. So the area and space measurement in FM is a good thing when it comes to the border lists and several other aspects as well. One lesson learned is a customer that decided to have separate service providers for their regular cleaning and the technical cleaning. So the technical cleaning is under raised floor cleaning or the handling of sensitive IT equipment that belongs to the end users, making sure that there is no residue or waste that could damage the environment in those situations. And for this customer, it was really important for them to clarify which parts within the net floor area of the building should be covered by which type of cleaning and thereby by which supplier. So by relying on the commonly accepted definitions, they could take the floor plans and actually map out the primary area, technical areas, which were the types of rooms where they wanted high-end technical cleaning to be performed, while the regular cleaning was kept for circulation areas and partition walls and so forth outside the net floor area. And also outside the net floor area. And the conclusion by this customer was that 5 years ago, they wouldn't have been able to clarify to their different suppliers who was responsible for which areas this clearly, and the border list would have been very much open for interpretation. And that was actually one of the reasons that they had the same supplier for all types of cleaning, regardless of the price and performance of those cleaning works. Some final notes. Border lists are critical to ensure that all areas are serviced and no gaps exist, but also these types of areas help to define the border lists. And do not underestimate the value of clearly defined FM KPIs or key performance indicators and service levels, because this is what you can use to ensure that health and safety standards, or for example automatic triggers for snow removal, as one of the examples I used before, can be handled so that you don't have to make formal service requests each time such a thing needs to happen. You can simply set standards for when snow removal should be performed, or when health and safety standards, how they should be met. FM, of course, includes also services such as catering or escorting and these kind of things that can be add-on services. And these are on-site works, so they should always include updating and finalizing of related documentation and service records. That's important to remember. Thank you for listening, and hoping you will look at another webinar for other related processes.